Before this story begins, please note that it explores themes of family, humanity, and personal responsibility. It is meant to encourage thoughtful reflection. If you feel unprepared for these themes, you may wish to pause before continuing. Rain hammered against the tall windows of the elegant Riverside Hearth restaurant, turning the city lights outside into blurred streaks of silver and gold. Inside, everything glowed with warmth and celebration. At the entrance stood Margaret Hawley, an 80-year-old woman dressed in a deep blue velvet coat, a pearl necklace resting gently against her collarbone. The pearls had once belonged to her mother. Her hands trembled slightly as she held her purse, not from age alone, but from nerves. Tonight was her birthday. She had imagined this moment all week, walking in proudly, ordering a fine meal and quietly celebrating the fact that she had made it to 80. But the young host barely looked at her. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he said, tapping his tablet. "Without a reservation, we can't seat you. We're fully booked." He repeated it again when she didn't move, his voice slow and impatient, as if she couldn't understand. Margaret felt something sharper than the cold outside. She felt invisible. She glanced around at laughing couples, clinking glasses, families leaning close to one another. Everyone had a place. Everyone belonged. She didn't. With a polite nod, she turned toward the door, swallowing the ache in her throat. Money had built her an empire. It had never bought her company. As she reached for the handle, a child's laughter cut through the room light, genuine, alive. Margaret paused. At a round table near the window sat a man in his mid-30s and a little girl. The man, Ethan Parker, wore a worn jacket and the expression of someone who noticed things others ignored. The girl, Maya, swung her legs happily beneath her chair. Ethan had been watching the entrance. He stood up. "Ma'am," he said gently, approaching her. "My daughter and I noticed what happened. Our table seats 4. We're only 2. Would you join us?" "It's pouring outside." Margaret stared at him, stunned. "I wouldn't want to intrude," she said softly. Ethan smiled. "It wouldn't be an intrusion. We're missing a grandma at our table." Maya waved enthusiastically. "You look like a queen," she added. Something inside Margaret cracked. She took his arm. Dinner unfolded slowly, then warmly. Maya talked endlessly. Ethan listened with patience and kindness. Margaret found herself laughing, really laughing, for the first time in years. Halfway through the meal, she took a breath. "I suppose I should tell you," she said quietly. "Today is my birthday. I turned 80. Maya gasped and clapped. "Birthday means cake." Ethan signaled the waiter. Soon, a small cake arrived with a single candle. "Why are you doing this?" Margaret asked, her voice trembling. Ethan met her eyes. "Because no one should blow out candles alone." Later, conversation turned deeper. Ethan mentioned his mother, who had raised him alone after being forced out of a wealthy household decades earlier. She'd worked endlessly, never bitter, teaching him that resentment only poisons the heart. Margaret felt the room spin. Details clicked into place names, years, memories she had buried. Ethan wasn't a stranger. He was her grandson. The son of the woman she had once fired and cast out in fear of scandal. Guilt settled over her like a weight she could barely breathe under. She said nothing that night. Instead, she helped Ethan, quietly offering him work, restoring an old property she owned, pretending it was just business. She watched him work with care and pride, watched Maya laugh in rooms once silent. The truth came out weeks later by accident, a photograph, a name, a past that could no longer stay hidden. Ethan was furious, hurt. He walked away, refusing her money, her house, her name. Margaret was left alone again, but changed. She didn't fight. She didn't chase with wealth. She wrote a letter. One without excuses, one filled with regret and accountability. She waited. Time passed. Then one day, Ethan returned. "I don't want your money," he said, "but I'll let you be part of our lives." Slowly, honestly, Margaret nodded through tears. It wasn't forgiveness yet, but it was a beginning. And sometimes that's the bravest miracle of all.